guys, so today I wanted to talk about forcing relationships, any type of relationship, friendship, romantic relationship, family relationship, any type of relationships that feel forced or occur when energy kind of isn't reciprocated. I feel like there are a few reasons like why we force relationships. And there can be many reasons why this can be like tempting to do, at least on the surface. And I feel like, especially post-COVID, there has been kind of this overarching feeling of loneliness amongst people. With that loneliness comes this fear of abandonment as well. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to have a perfect, like, big group of friends and to be in a serious, monogamous relationship that looks amazing. And due to this, like, validation about your perfect friend group or your perfect relationship can be especially attractive, especially online. It's quite easy to tell if a relationship is forced in like a few ways. One way is if you are the one constantly putting the effort in and you're the one constantly initiating, and there's not a lot of that action on the other person's part, and it's kind of like all on you to like maintain this relationship. Also, a big indicator is if you are feeling anxious and stressed out, or like drained or insecure after hanging out with this person, after talking with this person. And I think that this can lead to you losing some emotional energy because it's not kind of given back to you from this other person. So it can lead to burnout even. And because like you're burnt out, it also leads to you like neglecting your own personal growth, and it can lead to you neglecting other connections, maybe connections that are even like healthier. And I think the other side of this, being truly recognized, means being valued and seen and accepted without having to prove yourself. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to prove that you have value. You can use your energy to genuinely grow the relationship, and you don't have to use so much of your own energy to maintain the relationship and help the relationship deepen, because it's mutual effort from both parties. Instead of taking on 100% of the effort, you now can take over 50%. And that too will help you to return some of that energy back into your own life, and you'll have the energy to grow, or you'll have the energy to create and maintain other connections in your own life too. This is, I feel like, because these types of relationships where you are truly recognized, it's reciprocal, it's not transactional, and it's not one person taking on all of the work. Because relationships are work, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, any kind of relationship it is, it's gonna require work. There's a lot of potential and there's a lot of fun that can be had when both people are putting in the effort. And when you are recognized truly and appreciated truly, like, you don't have to chase, you don't have to convince someone to see your worth. And it can just feel genuinely easy, not all the time, but in that kind of initial stage where it's more about kind of someone putting effort into getting to know you. If someone's truly interested in you and recognizes you and recognizes your value, it's actually so easy, and you don't have to ever convince them to see your value. And you don't have to chase them. They don't have to really chase you. If there's this mutual kind of interest and there's this respect for each other, it's actually really simple. I advise people that if you are interested in someone and they're constantly like acting uninterested, then believe them. Because if they truly recognize you, I think you would not have to convince them to act with intention towards you. Somebody who genuinely has interest, genuinely it recognizes your value, genuinely wants you, they will move correctly. Even if they're not exactly sure how to, you will see the effort, you will feel like the energy towards the connection on their behalf. And that's because if someone recognizes you, they're naturally going to be curious about you. They're naturally going to want to put some effort in. They're going to want to communicate with you. They're going to want to get to know you. They're going to want to learn as much as they can about you. And it's also key to know when your effort starts to feel like self-betrayal. When you start feeling like you're betraying yourself by maintaining this connection and by putting the effort in, that is a really important signal that it's time to kind of detach. I feel like when you detach, a lot of times, like, you'll feel kind of your self-respect kind of come back to you. You'll feel your energy kind of come back to you. And that's because you're trusting yourself enough to trust that you're making the right decision. I think that when you do decide to detach, you can kind of respect yourself a bit more, and you can grow a sense of self-trust. You trust this decision that you're making. You've already seen that this person can't meet you where you are, that they can't treat you properly, that they can't give you the effort that you need to maintain the relationship, or the energy that you need and the effort that you need to feel valued in the relationship, and you're detaching, you're letting go, and you're making space for people that are more in alignment with you. You also grow in independence too, because letting go of a misaligned relationship will kind of require you to be more self-sufficient and do things a bit more independently, at least for a while. And you're trusting yourself that you can handle that, and you're trusting yourself that you are better off being independent than spending a lot of your emotional energy on a connection that's not really reciprocated. And so I wanted to close off this video with a few remarks. The right ones will recognize you without you having to convince them or persuade them in any type of way. Forcing connections oftentimes will delay the authentic connections that can come into your life. You don't need to shrink or to change. You can be loved and valued as you are. And it's really important that you love and you value yourself as well, and you give that to yourself too, because inner peace is much better. Even if you're alone, if you can provide yourself with that value, if you can provide yourself with that love, and you find inner peace, that is amazing, and you won't really look for it in other connections. But if you do have that kind of inner peace and that inner love, it'll be easier for you to tell when a connection is destabilizing your inner peace, right? And that too is an indicator that a relationship is kind of misaligned, and that it's not bringing you to kind of that next level. It's not helping you evolve and grow in a positive way. And that's why I think it's so important to kind of establish that inner peace and that self-love, so that you're not necessarily looking for that within someone else, but instead you're looking for someone who can help you maintain that feeling that you already have. I think that peacefulness is a really good indicator of alignment, something to kind of keep in mind going forward, which is a key point I wanted to make to close out this video. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Bye.